Hi, I'm Robin.
And I'm Bill.
Welcome to Not the Retirement Show. Today we're talking about how to re-engineer your retirement to get your life back on track.
Sounds awfully official that actually to re-engineer. Why can't we just sort of simply say, think about it and make some changes? Re-engineering seems like I need a saw and a hammer and stuff like that.
Well, in some cases you might, if you ask me. Let me say this. I think we need a whole new word for the third phase of your life. You know, you had childhood, you have adulthood. In our world, we call that third phase olderhood. Some of you may like that, some of you may not. But instead of calling it retirement, what does that mean? Over and over and over again. Why don't we call it newtirement?
I think you get to a stage in, as we call it, the third journey. I think you do get to a stage after the first 3, maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months, when you've gone through, as we previously called it, the honeymoon phase of, gee, it's great to be retired. Gee, I don't have to commute. Gee, I just, don't have to go and meet those awful people, at the office again, ever. Wonderful.
You worked with awful people?
Now and again.
I actually worked with some nice people.
I think they probably more said it, than me, but
okay.
Which I understand. No, I think once you go through that euphoria of, gee, I'm retired, there comes a point in time, 6 months, maybe 9 months, whatever it may be, where you have to say, whoa, I need to start making things happen. I need to, make some changes, because I can't live a life this way, which is the sort of the couch potato life, for the rest of my life, because it could be another 10, 15, 20 years. I need to make some decisions. And some of those decisions may be pretty big decisions that you don't necessarily have to make big decisions, but I think you do have to make some decisions.
Here's the thing. In the earlier phases of your life, there were things in your life that were forever driving you forward and encouraging you to keep going, to keep stretching yourself, to keep learning. That's easy to realize if you think about what happens when you go to high school, when you go to university, when you get your first job, when you get your first home, when you get your first car, maybe you start a family. That's all new. What we need to do is to figure out, in a steady, sensible, measured sort of way, how to keep introducing new into this third phase of our lives. No, perhaps you're never going to climb Mount Everest. Perhaps that's just not realistic. Perhaps you're not interested in that. But what are you interested in? What would excite you to get out of bed in the morning? What would really make you want to learn a new skill, how to do something you'd never done before, how to go somewhere you'd never done before, to make plans for how you're going to accomplish this big new thing in phases, in a series of steps, because you have the time.
Well, I think the dilemma that most people face is, when you talked about making decisions during your working life, for example, which is correct. A lot of those decisions were forced upon you or pushed upon you or put in front of you. In other words, if you were in a particular job and you were doing fine and everyone's okay, and then all of a sudden the company comes along and says, listen, we'd like you to take on a bigger job, or we'd like you to move to a different place, or unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go. Those were decisions that were made by other people. And that's the difference. And that's the dilemma that you face in the retirement years, because there's one person and only one person making the decisions. You're the boss. You're the one that's controlling your life. There may be some external factors, things like, health or family situations, or your partner wants to do something different. So there may be some external influences, but in terms of the actual big decision making, you carry that burden. You carry the responsibility that you're not being driven by or led by or instructed by someone else who has some level of authority over you. You have the authority in your own life, for your own life, and for the future life that you want to, to live with.
Well, that's an excellent point, because you really do have to be the captain of your own ship, if you will, in retirement. Nobody is going to make you do anything. You have to be the creator and the decider of everything. And some people find that very foreign or very overwhelming because they haven't actually had to do all of that in a very long time. If you're struggling with these things, we have a book for that. It's called The Third Journey, Making the Most of Your Life After Work. We cover all of these subjects and a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah, I think the takeaway from this is that you really probably are looking to make some big decisions. I think the other factor, though, involved with that, you used the example of, maybe I'll never climb Everest, but you're getting older. And what does that mean? And how does that impact the decision-making process? Well, it impacts it because if you decide to say, look, I'm going to just go and get a part-time job, but it's labor intensive, then fine, that may be okay for 1 or 2 or 5 years or whatever sort of thing, but there perhaps is no longevity to that situation, because as you get older, obviously things change, the body changes, you become sort of more tired. So the decision-making process is not just simply a decision-making process today, what am I going to do tomorrow? It is, what am I going to think about today? Perhaps take a few days to think about it, a week or 2 months, it doesn't really matter. But what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And that's where it becomes a challenge. Look, it's not easy to make some of those decisions because you've never had to do it before. This is new territory that you're coming into, and you're going to have to handle it as best you can basically in your own style, within your own fashion.
And as Bill said, there's a lot of emotionalism that rides behind and drives your decision-making process if you're not careful. We're going to chat about that in our next video. If you're still listening, we must have said something helpful, so please subscribe to our channel, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everyone.